Hinako, don't go. Your father's just worried.
I'm gonna go see my friends.
Come home soon!
Hinako Shimazu's journey in Silent Hill F is a complex and emotional one that sees her transform both metaphorically and physically as she progresses through the quiet town of Ebisugaoka and the ornate realm of the Dark Shrine. In both settings, she undergoes rituals and battles that put her friendships, familial relationships, and identity under a close microscope, which leads to plenty of introspection. What begins as a teenager taking some time away from a hostile home environment to visit friends soon becomes a treacherous path. It's a path laden with choices that will shape her future, consequences she needs to make peace with, and outcomes that can drastically alter the way the story is interpreted. If you've taken the time to collect all the documents scattered around Ebisugaoka and the Dark Shrine, you'll have fragmented pieces of Hinako's complicated story.
So that's why you two didn't get into a relationship, huh?
We don't need to talk about that right now. Let's go.
Ultimately, it's a story about Hinako being forced into marriage and abandoning her childhood before she's ready, and being met with the adult version of herself that she tries so hard to resist. This manifests differently, however, with new endings available after the first run, as well as new documents and interactions. There are 5 endings in total to unlock, but one of those is the UFO ending. We won't be breaking that down in this video, as it's a joke ending that's expected from the Silent Hill franchise. So with that in mind, we'll talk you through all the other endings in Silent Hill F and what that means for Hinako. Coming Home to Roost is the standard ending and the one everyone will see on their initial playthrough. In this ending, Hinako is battling with the expectations placed upon her by friends, family, and future husband. This manifests as a series of puzzles that uncover her friends and family's true feelings toward her, and monstrosities that show Hinako's view of the men and women in her town. Hinako is portrayed as a girl who has never quite met the social norms of what it means to be a woman. She's ostracized for socializing with boys early on. Her platonic relationship with best friend, Shu, creates confusion for herself and jealousy in her friendships. And on top of this, she experiences pressure from her sister, Junko, who has managed to be the shining example of a daughter. We uncover details that allude to Hinako being sold off as part of an arranged marriage to help settle the debts of her abusive father, and her soon-to-be husband, Foxmask, makes her undergo excruciating rituals that result in her mutilation so she can be the perfect match for him.
I am proud of you, Hinako.
Thank you.
Not wanting to emulate her mother, who Hinako sees as just as much of a villain as her father for staying with him, her internal fight is one of resisting societal and familial pressure, and wanting to choose the path that feels right for her. As we return to Hinako's home for a final time, her mother praises her beauty, while her father is unable to make eye contact with her. He casts her out of the family home, saying that if she steps inside, she won't ever truly be able to come back.
This isn't your home anymore. Even if you come back alone, I won't expect to be let inside.
We then see it's not Hinako standing there as such, but it's the Shiromuku, who is revealed to be the fog monster that's been plaguing Ebisugaoka and Hinako. The faceless Shiromuku is the bride version of Hinako, who is supposed to represent new beginnings and the bride's willingness to start a new life, transitioning away from her family and into her new home. As a faceless monster, the Shiromuku is a manifestation of Hinako's feelings towards the marriage. Not willing to accept her fate of losing herself to Foxmask, she proceeds into the depths of the Dark Shrine to face off, no pun intended, against the Shiromuku, in an attempt to keep her identity as Hinako Shimizu. The intense battle concludes with Hinako running away, back through the Dark Shrine and Ebisugaoka. A trail of red capsules lines the gauntlet, and she's eventually stopped in her tracks again by the Shiromuku. As they scream at each other, the screams transition to sirens, and we hear a police dispatch as a crime scene unfolds before us. We then learn that a woman in her 20s wearing a wedding dress has massacred several people. This is, quite clearly, Hinako, and the fight she had with the Shiromuku actually appears to be a literal slaughter of attendees to her wedding. The camera pans to the capsule case that was given by Shu early on, and it's clear that whatever herbal medicine Shu has been given to Hinako to help with headaches has actually resulted in Hinako losing touch with reality. As Hinako has managed to escape the scene of the crime, we can take this as Hinako managing to flee from the constraints of her current life. The Fox's wedding ending sees young Hinako continue to resist the marriage. She's met with the Fox version of herself, who represents the adult Hinako, and the two Hinakos go head to head. Fox Mask provides Fox Hinako with an elixir, which sees child Hinako exorcised of a demon that Fox Mask claims to possess her, taking away her ability to resist the marriage. Shu appears and attacks Fox Mask, claiming to defend Hinako, whom he swore to always protect. His anger shows that the friendship between the two of them has been altered by Hinako's need to grow up and assume the role of a wife. If she does this, it not only changes her life, but also Shu's. We also learn that Fox Mask is Kotoyuki, who was the boy attacked by the fox that we see in the flashback that Hinako has as she goes through the playground on her way back to her family home. Hinako helped him during the attack, establishing a connection between the two from an early age. Her conflict about marriage remains the same, and she wishes that she could literally be split into two, hence the dual manifestations of herself. She laments that Shu wants things to stay the same, and she'd like that, but Kotoyuki wants to build a life with her, and she's equally filled with hope about that choice too. New documents also show their communication with each other, making it clear that there has been a courtship between Hinako and Kotoyuki, and she hasn't simply been sold off. Shu's anger at the revelation leads him to confessing that he gave Hinako the red capsules to force her to look inside herself, but that they can also be dangerous. His struggle to understand his inability to be happy for her results in him becoming the monster that you fight in this ending. Shu transforms into the Tsukumogami, which represents objects that come to life after they served their purpose. In this case, Shu has served his purpose as Hinako's best friend, and unintentionally led her to her decision by giving her the red capsules. When the fight is over, Shu tells Kotoyuki to take care of Hinako. In their exchange, they continue to talk about Hinako as if she were an object, fighting about who she belongs to. Hinako's interjections are ignored, and she transforms into the Shiromuku with her arm around both men, signaling that she's submitting to her new role as a wife. The Fox Wets Its Tail ending taps into the folklore that runs through Silent Hill F. We see Kotoyuki attacked by the fox, but some collectible documents and the time spent in the Ebisugaoka Middle School explore just how important foxes are for the town. The local doctor's note discusses the belief that those who blaspheme against the Inari faith are possessed by foxes, and the best way to counter this is to follow local customs and offer prayer to the Onori-san. Meanwhile, an old medical record discusses the change in Kotoyuki after being attacked by the fox. He shows no sign of abnormalities, but does appear to be a brand new child after the attack, and in fact, improves his academic performance. When we reach the Dark Shrine in this ending, we see a much stronger Hinako who can fight back against her sister, Junko, Fox Mask, and her alternative self. First, Fox Hinako attempts to stop young Hinako, which results in a fight against the Shiromuku. This is just a brief fight, however, as Kotoyuki intervenes and warns Hinako that she's not behaving properly for a bride-to-be. Shu quickly arrives as backup and hits Kotoyuki, who reveals his true form, which is the Shichibi. It appears that after he was attacked by the fox, Kotoyuki was possessed and has now become the cunning fox. He became infatuated with Hinako after she saved him, and has made it his mission to make her his wife. Kotoyuki questions why Hinako won't submit to him, after he followed her customs and human tradition to make her love him. But despite his claims that it's love, it's little more than an attempt to dominate her and own her. He tells her that no one will miss her, and she'll just become another girl spirited away by a fox. Hinako fights back, telling Kotoyuki that none of the things that he can give her will make her happy. All she values is her freedom and the ability to follow her own path. She wins the battle, and Kotoyuki tells her to leave, but reminds her that he's still a monster, and if she gives him the chance, he will still happily consume her, control her, and ultimately own her. Hinako flees, making it clear that she's not running away from the responsibility, but actively choosing a different life for herself, where she's in control. In this ending, Hinako is aware that everyone around her has different expectations of her, and is, as she claims, toying with her. She acknowledges that this is what's resulted in her feeling like she's been fighting against herself. While she can accept that her family and friends want what they think is best for her, she needs to follow her own path and make her own decisions about her future. Refusing to be controlled, toyed with, and tossed aside by anyone in her life, Hinako tries to bring the two sides of herself back together. This ends with young Hinako and Fox Hinako choking each other when they're interrupted by Fox Mask.
Kotoyuki!
In this scenario, Kotoyuki is under the influence of the Fox, but it's the mandate of the clan documents that give us an insight into what's actually happening. It's revealed that, occasionally, a woman will be born with divine power, and it's up to the successor of the clan to seduce her and make her his wife. So it's not just the expectations of family and friends Hinako needs to worry about, but it appears that her fate was already determined for her. We know that other women have gone missing in Ebisugaoka, thanks to the notice boards, stones marked with messages, and pictures of faceless women that appear in the Dark Shrine. With this, it seems that members of the clan were attempting to satisfy the gods and find the girl born with the divine power, and ultimately, this was Hinako for Kotoyuki. While fighting the gods, Hinako explains that she believes Kotoyuki genuinely loves her and wanted the marriage with her to work, but she also says it's a tough decision for him to make, and he thought long and hard about whether marriage was right for him as well. Regardless, she believes that she can face the future together, as they cast aside the belief that their relationship was arranged for them, and they've had no choice in the matter. The two Hinakos emerge victorious, and both are protected by Fox Mask. It becomes clear that he has his own obligations, as does Hinako. They both have a desire to work out whether their love is real or not, and whether they're just conforming to expectations and pressure. This results in both of them deciding to live a life of passion and try to enjoy things before they make the commitment to be together. Hinako is able to bring two sides of herself back together again, and her quiet Ebisugaoka represents her ability to decide how she wants to live her life, without external influences. And there you have it, our breakdown of the many endings in Silent Hill F. Are there any details that you noticed in your playthrough? Let us know in the comments below, but for more from Silent Hill F, make sure to watch our video review.